This slideshow is an introduction and an explanation of the Modeling Clay mini project. It's also going to review the vocabulary that you need to know. So the objectives for this lesson are to create mini sculptures made of modeling clay that demonstrate various techniques and concepts used in three-dimensional art. This is obviously just a brief overview of these different terms. I don't expect you to become an expert in them, but a great way to explore concepts in art is by using an art material. You're going to document your mini sculptures by taking photos and organizing them into a slideshow. And you're also going to demonstrate an understanding of the techniques and concepts by explaining how they're used in each photo. Again, don't worry that maybe you're not an expert in these terms because this is likely new information for you. So there are all different types of sculptures. We encounter 3D art almost everywhere. And some sculptures are huge and amazing. Some are a bit perplexing. Some are cute. Some of them are made using unexpected materials. So all different types of sculptures. Sculptures can be surprising. This was an installation that was created to be placed between two buildings, and it's just full of these discarded wooden chairs. This sculpture here is a real shark that was encased in formaldehyde, and you actually could walk around the entire box. Sculptures can be unusual. This was an installation made of porcelain clay pieces that are shaped like sunflower seeds. This is also an unusual sculpture. Sculptures can be somewhat familiar, right? This looks like a leaping orca whale, even though it looks pixelated. Sculptures can use an unexpected material such as ice or plastic water bottles that are then displayed on the beach. Sculptures can be an experience. So this would be a sculpture that you would walk underneath and you could look at it from the bottom up. This is also a sculpture you could experience. Now, sculptures have different purposes. Some sculptures are functional, which means they serve a usable purpose, and some sculptures are considered non-functional, where they're created purely for aesthetic purposes. They're made to be looked at. So these are examples of some functional sculptures. Even though they are sculptural, they seem very artistic. Jewelry can be considered a functional sculpture. Examples include dinnerware, furniture, homes, jewelry, masks that you would wear, tiles that are decorative, vases. Like, they're functional, but they do have an aesthetic purpose. Now, these are considered non-functional sculptures. They're just meant to be looked at, right? This is not a usable set of stools because of the way they've been organized together. This was a sculpture made where the artist cut a house in half and then had it slightly unaligned, right? This house is no longer functional. This is a sculpture called Bad Fruit by Kathleen Ryan. It's made of beads and foam. It is not a real lemon. So that includes wall hangings, garden sculptures, installations, outdoor monuments, figurines. Sculptures can be decorative. Sculptures can also evoke certain emotions. This is a photograph from the Vietnam War Veterans Memorial located in Washington, D.C. So three-dimensional art uses various techniques and concepts, and these are the techniques and concepts you're going to explore using modeling clay. Line. Dynamic. So for example, this sculpture of this horse, it's made out of lots of different kitchen utensils, but it looks dynamic because, one, the way it's placed, like it's emerging from the wall, but you also can see there's like a sense of visual movement, right? It looks like it's moving forcefully because parts of the sculpture are moving away from it. There's a sense of energy and implied motion. Abstraction. This can be a lot of things, but basically it's a sculpture that's not representational. Like, it's not very recognizable. Void. Void means there's an area of empty space, maybe within or around it. Sculptures can be representational. Sculptures use balance, such as physically balanced or visually balanced. Environmental. This is sculpture that would be created outside, meant to be displayed outside, possibly interacts with nature. Gesture. This is where the sculpture has a sense of movement or parts of the sculpture appear frozen. Sculptures use subtractive techniques sometimes, which means you're taking away or carving from the object to make a form. So this person used tools to carve into this block of plaster. Space, not outer space. Symbolic. This is where a sculpture tells a story or symbolizes an idea. Non-functional. Size or scale. So this is about proportion, the amount of one material compared to another part of the sculpture. We can make sculptures that are very, very small, or we can make very large sculptures. Functional. Now there are more techniques and concepts that are not included in this slideshow, but this gives you a good introduction. So about the modeling clay that you're going to use. Be aware that this clay does not dry out, which is good. You might need to warm it up with your hands to make it workable. If it seems very hard, you might need to warm it a bit. The material can possibly transfer onto other surfaces, so just be aware of what you're sticking it onto. Please clean up when you finish using it. And also save the modeling clay in a plastic bag and return it to me when you're not using it. Please don't throw it out. That's the point of modeling clay. It can be reused over and over again. If you're not sure, you can ask me. And I do have modeling clay tools that are available. So yes, you can manipulate the material using your hands, but I also have some tools available. Now, when you're looking over the words, yes, if you're not really sure, you could look on the internet for some ideas, but I don't suggest just copying an example for your mini sculpture because you're going to have to explain how your mini sculpture uses that technique or concept. So you want to know what you're doing. Can you add a background to each photo? Yes, you can use your Chromebook to find a background and then you can place the sculpture in front of the background and take a picture. The sculpture can even interact with the background. So get creative with your mini sculptures. So this is the slideshow that you will be using to put your photos into. It has a title page. You don't need to edit that part, but you will need to edit all the other slides. There's a spot to insert your photo, and there's also a space to put your typed explanation. Please use 2 to 3 sentences that explains how your sculpture demonstrates that term, that technique, that concept. The words are in the order of the words from the video that you're currently watching, as well as on your worksheet that has the words and information for this project.